A prep student was playing hide and seek with classmates after school. She decided to hide in a massive closet in her classroom, and her playmates had a hard time finding her and figured that maybe she already went home instead. After the weekend, a janitor was doing his rounds when he noticed a weird smell. Checking each classroom, he didn't find anything odd until he came to the room where she hid. Assuming that one of the kids forgot their lunchbox in the closet, he unlocked it and was shocked to see her dead body. Weird thing was her hair had gone long and gray, her nails grew long too. Oh, and her skin was really wrinkled like an old lady's. After the incident, the nuns have decided to have the classroom walled up, never to be used again. I'm not a teacher myself, but my best friend works as a teaching assistant in a small primary school. She used to tell me about a little boy who would constantly give death stares to teachers and would generally refuse to interact with other children. My friend absolutely loves kids, but even she admitted she had never seen a child look so angry all of the time, like he hated the world even though he was so young. He would face the wall during class time and repeatedly bash his head against the wall until staff intervened. He started biting a lot of the children and was told off for doing so in the dining hall one day. He then jabbed the dinner lady in the arm with his fork so hard that it drew blood. In my friend's classroom, they had a small incubator with little chicks that the children would help to look after and watch as they grew up. At one point, he was left unattended and managed to squeeze one of the poor chicks to death. I don't know what ever happened with him because my friend got a job at another school, but the story has always stuck in my mind. The way she described him genuinely gave me chills. I'm gonna preface this by saying I went to boarding school for 6 years. This boarding school was in the middle of a one-stoplight town and on a hill 800 feet up. The school used to be an old monastery. It was hundreds of years old and huge with 4 stories, including a basement where there was a boiler room and long hallways. Not all of these stories happened to myself, but the people who told me them were reliable enough to believe. Also, the school didn't want us telling stories to other people because they were afraid that it would make them not want to go to the school due to it being haunted. The first one happened to me. I used to be in charge of cleaning the gymnasium at night. Every student had a job that they had to do either at night or in the morning to help take care of the school. It taught you some practical things and all. Anyway, I was there by myself that night getting ready to start sweeping the gym. The gym had 2 floors to it. The upstairs part was the weightlifting area, and you could see it fully from the bottom part of the gym where the basketball court was. As I stepped into the gym, one of the basketballs starts rolling a bit. I look around to see if any doors are open, none are. I chalk it up to randomness, but see that it is continuing to roll. As I watch it, it makes a full circle around the entire gym and stops right next to my feet. At this point, I'm a bit scared, but figured it was nothing. I heard a creaking coming from the 2nd floor and look up. There is a girl there, just staring right at me. As soon as I made direct eye contact with her, she bolts to the stairs that would take her to me. She let out a scream that I cannot describe. I was terrified and froze in place. Thankfully, she didn't come to me, but took a left and bolted through the main doors of the gym. They didn't open, she just went right through them. I noped the hell out of there. I used to work for my dad, who was partially self-employed doing regular maintenance and floor refinishing for a child care program called Head Start. The one center was in an old school, which was built not too long after the turn of the century, and it served as a church functions building in addition to housing Head Start and another child care. We always did floors over the summer. Anyone who has stripped and waxed floors knows that when you're putting the coating back on, it's quiet and relaxing. We were the only people in the building since it was a midsummer weekend, and yet it felt off, even before you enter, like someone was watching from the 2nd floor windows. So here we are, making slow progress across this huge room, when we hear a sound upstairs and stop. Then, it sounded like someone was skipping across the room and back, a few times, and stopped again. So, we finished the layer and went upstairs. Nobody was up there, so we closed the doors and went downstairs to start the other room. Once again, this sound started, but this time I sprinted upstairs. The sound stopped before I reached the hall, but all of the doors were open at various angles. We didn't hear the sound any more that summer, but my dad asked the child care advisor from the other end of the building if they heard weird noises. She said no, but that one day, they were sitting down for snacks and a couple kids were staring in the corner. The aide asked them what they were looking at, and one of the kids asks, "Why can't that girl eat with us?" The aide looked sound, then asked, "What girl?" And the kid points at the corner and says, "The little girl in the white dress." I literally haven't set foot in that building since, and I have no desire to do so. I used to think ghosts were for scary stories, but I have trouble believing this isn't real. An old tale in a high school in Manila focuses on an abandoned building, where many believe a student died a long time ago. That's why it was forced to be hidden more than 30 years ago, making way for new buildings that were built in front of it. A few rooms remained open in the abandoned building, though, as they still serve purpose. Students have to go through a secret passage to be able to enter or go near the building, and those who attempt to do so experience some kind of surprise. One of the rooms close to the secret passage was the high school computer lab, where Trixie Asterisk had an encounter. The rest of Trixie's classmates had to stay in the room to finish their requirements, while she and the rest of the honor students had some free time to just roam around school, so they went to the computer lab to hang out. There was no one else inside other than the 5 of them. Trixie and her classmates were seated close to each other, just talking nonsense, when the lights started to flicker aggressively like a scene straight out of a horror film. No one was even close to the switch. They just stared at each other and ran for their lives. Terrified, they even reached out to the maintenance personnel to check for a glitch, but there was none. Some teachers refused to believe the story. But some also shared that they witnessed computers turning on by themselves, as well as feeling shadows of a kid running around the lab. But this only happened when they were alone, of course. This was in primary school. Rumor was that a girl was found dead near a toilet. I was with my friends in that said toilet. Washing our hands, tying our hair, looking at the mirror and all that. Suddenly, we all saw a reflection of a girl in the mirror, who looked upset, like she was crying. She then briskly walked into the cubicle and shut the door. All my friends ran away and left me. Stupid me went to look under the door and there was no one. I ran out super fast. My friends said that she was floating, not walking, which is why they ran. So we believed it was that girl who died near that toilet. The school is no longer there.